We're now looking at the role of women in Latin America's economic recovery. And to start this conversation, I'm actually very pleased to bring Flavia Santoro, president of Colombia, to give us very quick introductory remarks. Flavia, it's great to see you.
Thank you so much, Kevin. Muchas gracias a Kevin Wenzel, director de programación global de Concordia, por sus amables palabras y por invitarme a participar en este evento. Quisiera comenzar saludando a Paula Santilli, CEO de PepsiCo en Latinoamérica, y un saludo también para Charity Wallace, vicepresidente de estrategia del US International Development Finance Corporation, DFC, gran aliado de Colombia. Y por supuesto, un saludo muy especial a todos los asistentes de la comunidad de Concordia que nos están viendo vía streaming. Me siento supremamente honrada de estar en este espacio y quisiera aprovechar este momento para compartir con ustedes lo que hacemos desde ProColombia. ProColombia es esa entidad del gobierno adscrita al Ministerio de Comercio, Industria y Turismo, la cual nos dedicamos, estamos encargados de promover a nuestro país como ese destino atractivo para la llegada de inversión extranjera directa, para atraer a los turistas internacionales, así como ese proveedor relevante de bienes y servicios no mineroenergéticos sostenibles y de alto valor agregado para el mundo. Nos hemos planteado unos propósitos muy claros en ese sentido. Queremos ser líderes regionales en atracción de inversión extranjera directa. Le apuntamos a llenar a la vitrina hacia los marketplaces del mundo con lo mejor de Colombia. Y trabajamos para convertir al turismo en ese nuevo petróleo de Colombia. Estamos seguros de que nuestro país tiene los elementos necesarios para alcanzar estas metas y salir fortalecidos de toda esta coyuntura excepcional para el mundo entero. Y entre otros factores, es gracias al trabajo, a la visión y al profesionalismo de la mujer colombiana. Nosotros estamos convencidos de que la inversión, las exportaciones y el turismo juegan un rol fundamental en el repunte de nuestra economía. Y el talento colombiano de hombres y mujeres es protagonista en este propósito. Nuestro gobierno cree firmemente en las mujeres. El presidente Duque le apostó a las mujeres desde que llegó en el primer día de gobierno. La vicepresidenta de la República es una mujer. La jefe de gabinete del gobierno del presidente Iván Duque, María Paula Correa, quien es de la Casa de Concordia, es una mujer. Y las carteras de Interior, Relaciones Exteriores, Educación, Tecnologías de la Información y las Comunicaciones, Transporte, Cultura y Ciencia, Tecnología e Innovación están a cargo de mujeres. Y en ProColombia no nos quedamos atrás, le apostamos también a las mujeres. 62% de nuestro equipo somos mujeres. Además, vale la pena destacar que muchas de ellas están ubicadas en posiciones de liderazgo. De las 5 vicepresidencias que hay en la organización, 3 son ocupadas por mujeres. La Secretaría General también está a cargo de una mujer. Y de las 18 gerencias que tenemos en ProColombia, 12 están lideradas por mujeres. De acuerdo con la más reciente encuesta de Great Place to Work a nivel país, ProColombia ocupó el segundo lugar en el ranking de los mejores lugares para trabajar para las mujeres. Al igual que Colombia y ProColombia, PepsiCo Latinoamérica, bajo el liderazgo de Paula Santilli, ha impulsado la participación femenina, ha impulsado la diversidad y la equidad en toda la organización. Esta maravillosa gran ejecutiva argentina, licenciada en Ciencias de la Comunicación, que inició su carrera en el área de marketing, hoy es símbolo de inspiración para muchas mujeres en el sector privado. También es un gusto para mí presentarles a la moderadora como Charity, quien desde su rol en DFC empodera a las mujeres a través de la inversión en proyectos liderados por ellas o que ofrecen servicios que las benefician. Antes de darle la palabra a Charity, los quiero dejar con un mensaje. Desde ProColombia avanzamos en nuestros objetivos, enfocados en lo que yo llamo las 4 Es. Nos empoderamos de nuestras responsabilidades, trabajamos con excelencia y en equipo y siempre le apuntamos al éxito. Seguimos adelante con optimismo, articulados hombres y mujeres, con un enorme compromiso por Colombia y por nuestros empresarios y empresarias. Mil gracias.
I think you're on mute, Charity. Hi, everyone.
Mine is not going off mute. There you go. Sorry. Thank you so much, Flavia, for those amazing remarks. And we're just so thrilled to be here. I am particularly thrilled to be here with Paula Santilli. And we're going to be talking about one of my favorite subject matters, which is that of the transformational power of women. And we just want to thank Concordia for the opportunity to participate in today's event. My name is Charity Wallace. As Flavia said, I serve as the Senior Vice President of our Office of Strategic Initiatives and Managing Director for our Global Women's Issues Office at the U.S. International Development Finance Corporation, which we call DFC. When we think about the transformational power of women, I'm so thrilled to be speaking with you today, Paula. Research shows that if women participate more equally in the economy, global GDP could increase by 26% or $12 trillion by 2025. And in Latin America, women could add an estimated 2.6 trillion to GDP by 2025 if the gender gap is bridged. Yet despite recognition of the opportunity that women represent, on virtually every global measure, women are more economically excluded than men. We know that companies with women in executive roles perform significantly better than companies without female leadership. But women continue to face significant obstacles on the path to senior leadership. For every 100 men promoted and hired to manager, only 72 women are promoted and hired. And in addition, women's leadership at the highest levels in the private sector, government, and beyond have significant impact on outcomes for revenue, growth, and for individuals, families, and communities. So with that in mind, I'm really thrilled to speak with you this morning, Paula, to discuss the role of women in Latin America's economic recovery and the need to increase women's leadership in positions across the ecosystem. So, as Flavia said, you are the CEO of PepsiCo in Latin America and have had a very renowned career, having served in numerous senior executive positions. You were named one of Fortune's 50 most powerful women international. And because we have just a brief time, I wanted to jump right into the questions. So why don't we start by talking about your path and the path you took to your current position, the role of mentors and equality champions along the way. What did you achieve on your own versus what points were external support really important? So over to you.
So listen, Charity, thank you, and Concordia and Flavia for that wonderful, emotional introduction, which I really appreciate. Listen, maybe, it would be a long conversation to walk you through my entire career. I think what is more interesting, perhaps, for the audience is what moved me, because at the end of the day, let me tell you, Charity, I'm just a woman from Argentina originally. I wasn't born in Germany, in the United States. I was born in a very far away city of Buenos Aires. But there was something about business in particular. I fell in love with business, So sometimes women in business have like a yin and a yang thing, a little bit of a ambiguous territory between women and business. I loved it. My first son was born. He was 5 days old, and I just wanted to go back to the office. As much as I loved him, I really wanted to go back to work. So there was something about loving problem solving, loving the challenges that every day we get in businesses in Latin America, loving the teamwork, the ability to, find solutions in a team that really drove me. And I think that's like the more unknown but more interesting part of my career.
And when you think about it, were there mentors that brought you along, sponsors? I mean, how did that work? And how are you doing that with the younger generation?
Yes, definitely. And by the way, Charity, all my mentors were men, as I was growing up, the word gender equity, etc., didn't exist until the last maybe 10 years, So all my mentors were absolutely amazing. Actually, I wrote a book and dedicated the book to those male mentors. because number one, they were always a voice of encouragement. No, what we know today is that women need to be constantly encouraged to believe in themselves, and I got that from them. I also received very clear guidance. No, listen, you're making a mistake here. This is not the tone. This is not the way to influence others. This is not the way to impact your organization. Why don't you test this alternative? No, they were very open with me and very transparent in telling me, you know, you need to correct a few things here and there. No, they were also very patient with me when I made mistakes. When we took the wrong curve or the wrong decisions in business, they were, you know, they normalized the drama, which is something that sometimes women get really hooked up. Oh my God, I'm making a mistake here. You know, this is not going in the right direction. And we get very hooked on drama. They kind of lowered my tension points there. No, so absolutely, Charity, I'm very, very grateful to all the men in my career.
And I do think when we talk about gender equality, it's really important that men are these champions for women. I think that's actually a critical piece of it. It can't just be women saying more women need to be in leadership or need to be empowered economically, but rather, we need men to come alongside who are champions and advocates as well. And when you think about your journey, what's sort of the most surprising or shocking thing about your journey to the top, whether that's negative or positive?
Charity, let me tell you a story. You know, when I became CEO, and there were still cocktails and, you know, dinners, etc., and I used to meet new people in these events. And hi, how do you do? What do you do? And I, you know, answered, I'm the CEO of PepsiCo Latin America. Then what would happen is always the question, you are the what? No, that was the first reaction. You are the what? And internally, Charity, I have to confess, I kind of, you know, thought to myself, yeah, you understood well. I am the CEO of Latin America. No, right. What part did you not understand about CEO? No, but my first impression is, what a surprise this is. No, and today, Charity, I'm working so that is not a surprise anymore. No, right. They would never tell a man, oh, you're a CEO. Oh, you know, what did you say? No, it would come more as a normal, understood thing that the man is in a leadership position. But when I say I'm in a CEO, I get surprised looks, and I'm working today, so no other women get surprising looks when they say they are CEOs. No. And then the other thing that I got when I became CEO was the impact in younger women is amazing. Charity, I don't wake up every morning and say, oh my God, I have to go to work, and oh God, I'm the CEO. No, I don't think that way. Right. No. But I do recognize that when I tell younger women that I am a CEO, it's a huge, huge impact for the younger generations. And it is a huge responsibility for me, no, because I don't want to screw it up. I want to do a really good job. And I want to be as much of an inspiration as I can to as many women in Latin America as we can.
And I think, to your point, it's having a role model that they can aspire to, that they can look to, that they can learn from. To your point, you learned a lot from your mentors. I think that's really a critical piece. But also, it's having that role model so that people don't take a second look or ask the question, what did you say? The more women are in these senior positions. So when you're thinking about leveraging your existing platform and leadership, trying to close that gender gap, how do you do that? Are there tools that you've used, whether it be like talent development, I think that you all have done, or, you know, thinking about different trends? How are you doing that? Or is it intentional, or is it just sort of
very intentional? No. So Charity, what we do in PepsiCo is, number one, we have clear targets. No. So for 2025, we have to have reached 50-50 gender equality. No? For a company like PepsiCo, 2025 is like around the corner. It's right away, right? So we have clear plans in place everywhere around the world, in Latin America especially, to make sure that we reach that target, no? So number one thing, we're working on recruitment, no? In some areas of our company, we know we have to recruit like 75% women to be able to fuel the pipeline of women, no? Recruitment is absolutely key. No programs like Ready to Return, women that have left the workforce for maternity reasons or other reasons and are ready to come back. That's a program where we, bring them back into the workforce a few years later. Really nice recruitment practices that we share openly, by the way, with as many companies as we can. Then it's a factor of developing these women, and making sure they are getting the right career experiences, they're getting the right training, the right mentors, etc. And we have many programs. The one I love a lot is Inspira. It's called Inspira. This is for middle management, and we really work on, hey, we're here to inspire you to take your career to the next level, and that works really wonders internally, as we see most of the women that have gone through Inspira being later promoted, and then we work on making sure the culture understands the differences between men and women, and so forth. So yeah, we have very concrete plans in place. We're constantly checking. We're also constantly learning to make sure that we arrive to these targets.
That's right. It's interesting about that intentionality, as I was looking at even what we've done at the DFC with our 2X Women's Initiative. So when it was launched, there was only a small number of transactions that we were investing in that were promoting women's economic empowerment. And when we applied that intentionality, really embedded it into our investment strategy, we've now closed 100 2X transactions over the last 3 years. And this year alone is a banner year for our 2X. We've mobilized more than $4.1 billion towards gender lens investments just in fiscal year 20. And so I was thinking about it, it does take intentionality around this. It really does. You really do have to proactively look for opportunities to promote women. And I love the fact that you're providing women with unique opportunities to grow in the positions that they are, and then obviously grow and walk up that ladder, if you will. So we know that you published a book, and we only have a few minutes left, but it's called The Power of Empowerment: Women Building Latin America. And I definitely want to go out and purchase the book. I hope everyone will. But can you please share one insight or finding that surprised you when you were conducting the research and putting the book together?
Yeah, the book is, it's written in Spanish, Charity. There's a deficit in literature in Spanish for women in Latin America. So that was the driver, one of the drivers to publish the book. And one thing that really surprised me and is an eye-opening for all the women in Latin America that we talk about is this ability to self-promote yourself, So women in Latin America, we put our heads down, we do our work exceptionally well, and we think that somebody's going to notice, somebody's going to promote me. I just have to do my work. And yeah, you have to do good work to be promoted, no doubt, but you also have to have that spirit of being, of self-promoting yourself correctly within the entire organization. And we don't do that, Charity, in Latin America. No, I haven't done it. So when we talk about this with women, it's like, oh my, you mean I should go up to HR, to my boss and say, I'm ready for this challenge. I'm ready for a new promotion. And yeah, you are supposed to do that. That one was very surprising for me.
Yeah, I think that's universal. I mean, as you think about, women are just less comfortable with self-promotion, and we tend to take ourselves out of the running for promotions and other things. So it's very interesting. There's a lot of data and research around this, how men will lean in And women tend to not throw their name, it's actually thinking about Sheryl Sandberg's book, Lean In. That's the whole idea behind it is women have a harder time with self-promotion. So I love that that's something that you talk to women about in your book, because it's so critical. And oftentimes I find it easier to have someone else talk about your successes and help you in that process of getting promoted. So I know that that's kind of universally true, sadly, across the world. So let's talk about final thoughts on solutions, practical advice, or a challenge that you might have to the audience. So what might that be? What is your advice for women? What are the challenges that you would say to the audience?
Listen, the reality is women in the economy do amazingly well. You just said it at the beginning, right? We know for a fact that women create wealth, okay? And they create prosperity. And right now, after or in the middle of a pandemic, we can't take the risk of not creating wealth, no? So I think we have to inspire women, whether it's, create your own small business, whether you have a piece of land that you want to turn into a production and materialize some sort of crop, or you want to work in a large company. We have to inspire these women, and be a magnet of them to really help them become these change agents that they can.
That's right. Well, thank you so much, Paula, for sharing your insights, your inspirational leadership. You're so wonderful as a role model for all of us, really. You remind us of the importance of having women in leadership and how critical it is to have women included in every aspect, especially during this economic recovery. It can't be a side thing that's nice to do. It really needs to be embedded in everything that we're looking at as it relates to the economy. We think about it as economic recovery must include women. It's contingent on women's inclusion and opportunities to contribute to the economy. And so frankly, I feel like we're all responsible to promote women, to advocate for women, to champion women's economic empowerment. And that's both men and women. And so in doing so, research shows that we strengthen communities, families, and countries. So we're just so proud to be here with you today. I'm so thrilled to have had the opportunity to speak with you. And thanks, Concordia, for allowing us to talk about the really critical role that women play in economic recovery.